just get appalled at. I'm blacker than Nina and Samoan. I just want freedom and want all these people left alone. How in the world is that champing you? Laughable, you catch an attitude. Glad that you going back.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Let us discuss MLW Thanksgiving Day Special. A very good episode of MLW Fusion that actually told a very good story throughout the episode. So let's get into it. So TJP defeats Calvin Tankman. You heard me. TJP. Yes, that wad of unsweetened gum that they call TJP actually defeated Calvin Tankman, who was actually dope. And but they did a good job of explaining why this happened. It happened because King Mo and Alex Kane kept interfering and beating up Calvin Tankman with the ref's backs turned. So they beat him, and this ended up helping TJP win. So this was really good. Calvin Tankman, of course, was not going to win the tournament, so they found an interesting way of getting him out, and that is by having King Mo and Alex Kane help TJP win. After the match, TJP told Alicia Atut that he did it all by himself, and that, delegating tasks is a very difficult job. And Calvin Tankman was the story of the night, essentially, because he was pissed backstage, just kind of going back and forth. And there was this interviewer who I don't even know if I'm supposed to know his name. The bearded interview guy, he's very annoying. And Calvin Tankman kept telling them, like, it's not the time, man. And he's pacing back and forth like a caged lion. And this guy just keep getting in his face. What about Alex Kane? What about King Mo? What are you going to do about these guys? He's like, man, it's not time. And then he snapped. And he grabbed the guy by the throat and pressed him against the wall. And then he could have just kept the promo short here, but I'm glad he didn't, where he basically just said that Alex Kane is effed, and that, it's too early in the video to drop F-bombs. So he's basically like, he's effed. I screwed up my chance to be the world champion. The uppercut was my second chance, and then King Mo and Alex Kane stole that from me. So I'm going to beat the shit out of these guys. When I catch them, it's on. I'm going to really hurt them. Then Myron Reed steps in and pulls Tankman off the guy and says, "Hey, look, man, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get those dudes, man. We're gonna get our revenge on these guys." Later in the episode, Alex Kane introduces Mr. Thomas, who is now, I guess, a member of what he calls his fight club. I forget what it's called. I forget what his fight club is called, but they're talking, they're chatting or whatever with the interviewer. I believe it was Alicia Toot. And then Tankman busts in the room and is trying to tear this guy apart. He really wants to beat up Alex Kane. And Alex Kane sitting on the couch like, you want some? Come get some. I'm reaching out. And, then Tankman gets carried away. Tankman's a big dude, too. So he gets carried away like by 500 people, like dragging him away. And then Alex Kane called him a hoe. I don't know when the last time I heard somebody get called a hoe on TV. He was like, you don't want to fight, he a hoe. And that was just kind of like, I was like, wow, the disrespect. That was disrespectful as hell. So since we're on the subject of Alex Kane and Tankman, let's talk about the main event, which was the ladder match for the Openweight Championship. It featured Myron Reed, Zenshi, Alex Kane, Alex Shelley, and the Lucha Sorpresa, which is the surprise luchador or surprise fighter, which was ACH. Now before we get into the match, I'm pretty sure I spoiled the match on the thumbnail already, but let's just say I didn't. We got Tankman. I think Tankman probably should have been the surprise guy, and I think it should have been because he was in the first match. You should have put him in this match too, and just had him take out Alex Kane in this match. But I like what they did even more. Like, that's what I would have done. I would have put Tankman as the surprise guy in this match. And I thought that's where they were going with it. But Court Bauer kind of outsmarted me a little bit. And he made ACH the surprise guy. That said, Alex Kane won the match, which was the right decision. Because now, if you're going to have this Alex Kane-Calvin Tankman feud, now they can feud over the belt. You have a really, really hot feud over this title now, which has been dormant for several weeks because Hammerstone had to give it up when he won the world title. So you had this inactive belt for a long time. And to bring the belt back to activity, you added it to this feud that is pretty hot already. and you taking it to the next level. Because Tankman, lost the world title match. He lost that straight up. He got screwed out of the Opera Cup, and now he is in the mix of feuding with the guy who has the Openweight title, which I'm guessing is the second title in the company, the second best title. So it brings it all together. Great storytelling device by Court Bauer. Really good job. And so now Alex Kane has a belt and for Tankman to beat him for. And that's great. And now Alex Kane is still undefeated. So he's never been pinned, never been submitted. And he's a champion. Really good stuff. Smart. So the Tankman stuff on here was really good. Everything else, it was okay. Okay, so there was some guy named Big Beef Gnarls Garvin who looks like some parody of a territory wrestler. It was awful. He won a match over Bud Heavy, whoever that is. There was a promo after that, but who cares? I'm not even gonna go into it. The Dynasty, they did some good storytelling stuff right here. So you had the Dynasty. They are talking about winning the War Chamber match. Richard Holiday decided to break the fourth wall and start talking about the babyfaces won. The babyfaces prevailed, Alicia. Then Hammerstone says, you're certainly not a babyface. You're a tweener at best. Which, Hammerstone being kind of a comedic guy, but only really when he's hanging out with Holiday, is cool. Because it makes him seem like, he's not a complete stick in the mud. Like, he's a muscle man, Superman, everywhere else. But when he hangs out with Richard Holiday, he's a little bit more laid back. So that's not too bad. Then they get Cesar Duran's handler, or not his handler, but his underlings, rather, delivered to them some gifts, to which, Richard Holiday loves the gift. He thinks that the gift is great. He wants to keep it, but Hammerstone was like, nope, I don't want this. We can't take these. And they kind of bicker about it, and Hammerstone was like, these are from Cesar Duran. I do not want to be in his debt for anything. I already made a deal with him. We did too much. I don't want this stuff. We already done too much business with this guy. Now he's sending us congratulations, gifts, and stuff like that. We don't want them. So they send back, I believe it was watches or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention. I think I was still eating. So at this point, later in the episode, Cesar Duran's with Katrina, and they're talking to the two reporters, Alicia Toot and the other guy, who they still have not said his name, or I just don't remember what his name is. And then Cesar Duran looks at them and says, why do I need two reporters on MLW? Why do we need two? And Alicia Toot was talking about, we have different approaches. We're two different people. We do different things different ways. And Cesar Duran's like, yeah. What do you bring to the table? And so Alicia breaks down that she's been doing this for almost 10 years. She's really good with people. She wants to get to know people, yada, yada, yada. And the other guy says, okay, yeah, that's cute. That's human interest stuff. A war reporter. We're at war. MLW's at war with Contra. I'm trying to get in on the ground floor and see what's really going on. I'm asking penetrating questions. I don't do cute like Alicia. And, of course, Cesar Duran knows that this is the guy that, Jacob Fatu nearly killed a couple of weeks ago when he was eavesdropping on Contra. And I forgot about that. I legit forgot about that. He was the same guy that was eavesdropping on Joseph Samael and Jacob Fatu and almost got killed. He's also the same guy that, when Contra showed up, and he was asking a bunch of questions when Contra showed up to attack Hammerstone and EJ and Duca. He was the reporter there too. So they're saying that this guy, gets in there, and there's always some type of shenanigans going on when he's around. So, and he's like, I do real things, unlike Alicia Toot. Even though she did that really good investigative thing on Cesar Duran at one time. So Katrina comes into the room, the dark room, and she sees that Alicia Toot is there, and she says she likes Alicia Toot's ambition, but she likes that the other guy is fearless, but she thinks he's more like paparazzi, and she doesn't like that. So Duran says essentially that they're going to have to up their game if they want to keep their jobs, and that they want more exclusives. They want more hard-hitting stuff. So both of them are sent away with the "if it bleeds, it leads" mantra floating over their heads. And so one of them is on the chopping block. but they're going to give them a fighting chance to decide which one of them are going to stick around. So that said, after they dismissed the reporters, the guy who delivered the watches to Hammerstone and Richard Holiday returns with the watches or whatever. Let's just say they're watches. I don't know what they really were. And Cesar Duran notices that they didn't take them. And he was like, that's very interesting. So now he's going to have to figure out how he's going to deal with Hammerstone and Holiday, who seem to not be interested in being in his pocket. So this was a very good episode of MLW. MLW does the storyline stuff really, really, really good. Even if you don't like the wrestlers, the storyline stuff is really good. I've never seen Alex Kane anywhere else. So this is my introduction to him, has been MLW. And he's been doing pretty good. I think he's kind of replaced King Mo as their sort of MMA infused guy, even though he doesn't really do a lot of MMA. He's sort of a suplex guy. So I really have enjoyed this thing with him and Tankman. I think is great. Of course, to Cesar Duran, everything he's been involved with is great. The big beef, Gnarls, Garvin stuff, whatever. We got to have some kind of filler on this show. We can't be 100% crack. So next week is going to be TJP versus Davey Edwards. Not Davey Edwards. Is it Davey Edwards? Davey Richards. Davey Edwards. I was thinking of Eddie Edwards. But versus Davey Richards and for the Opera Cup. And that ought to be interesting. So I really like what Court Bauer is doing. I really enjoyed MLW even before they went on break. But they've been really good since they came back too. They're doing a great job of doing episodic wrestling television. And even though spoilers are out there, because MLW is in the weeds, you don't really get spoiled a lot. I wasn't even at home when this episode aired. So it had already aired when I hadn't even got off work yet. And I still didn't get it spoiled for me because people don't care. MLW is so underground. It's such a niche of the niche product that you can not watch it and it won't get spoiled for you. That's kind of how it was when I watched Reality of Wrestling, the one shot in Las Vegas, whatever. I saw it. I saw it was a 2-hour special. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And it wasn't spoiled for me because, like, nobody cares. So that makes those shows fun to watch sometimes because, if you miss Dynamite, and you go home, it's spoiled for you immediately. Either somebody's talking about it, or if you follow any dirt sheet, it's spoiled for you. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, same thing. But these smaller shows like NWA or MLW or Reality of Wrestling or OVW or something like that, I cannot watch OVW for almost a month and not get spoiled on anything. And I don't watch OVW that often, but you could. And that makes it, more interesting when you could just jump in and sort of binge it if you wanted to. It makes it fun. So watch MLW, please. At least give this episode a chance. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your time.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort, so question as if you